So, my mirror fell off the wall. You see. So now I could fix it. Or, wait. What mirror? No mirror. Hello, hello. We're back, and it hasn't been like a million years. So in my last video, we did a little gel overlay on my newly shortened natural nails. Not so newly shortened anymore. It's actually, here we are. And it's been, I think it's been like 6 weeks because I cut them all the way down in late August. I know I didn't post that video until a little bit after that, but it was late August when I first cut them, and it is October 11th today. So I think that's about 6 weeks. Yeah, so month and a half ish. And yeah, we've got a good little bit of growth here. I've been doing some filing just to keep them in shape and stuff like that. So in the last video, I showed you how I do my gel overlay on my natural nails, and I asked what people wanted to see next, and a lot of people said they wanted to see how I do a fill. So we can do that today. I've done a few fills on this already. I think actually one time I even took it all off and redid the whole thing. I had tried out a new color the first time I did it. I did a clear one, and I actually ended up going back to this, like, it basically looks clear when it's on, but it's actually like a slightly pink toned gel product. But it's probably been like 2 or 3 weeks, so I don't know if you can see, and we'll get up close in with my other camera in a second so you can see. There's a good little bit of grown out bit there, and the gel is actually a little stained from my hair dye, so that's why it looks kind of yellow, so we'll get rid of that too. But yeah, we're just gonna do a fill, kind of a quick tutorial on how I do that. It's honestly like, if you can do a set, like if you can do a gel overlay, you can do a fill. It's not super hard, but I'll show you exactly how I do it with the prep and then applying the product, and we'll finish on out. And keep letting me know what you want to see. I'm gonna try and post videos at least every month and change-ish so you can see the grow out as it goes. So let me know what you want to see next. I know some people were asking about how I do the peel off base coat. Some people were asking about how I do gel polish, so I can definitely do some stuff like that. But as always, let me know in the comments what you want to see. And of course I'll say, haha, subscribe, and notification bell and all that stuff that you tell people to do. And yeah, and as I say at the end of every intro, it's time for me to shut up, and we'll switch to the other camera angle and get started. Alright, so here's my left hand here. Here's my right hand. I've already started the process over here. You can see I had like a glitter polish on here that wasn't on with a peel off base coat, which is what I usually use on my other hand. So I went ahead and started to buff that off. Just a little extra step if you do have polish on it. But we'll be doing my left hand, which doesn't have any color gel on it. So this is just the gel overlay as well as a top coat. Like I said, you can see the grow out here. For me, this is about, I think, 2 or 3 weeks of growth. A lot of people ask me like, how long do you go between fills? And that totally varies person to person. I think like 2 to 4 weeks is pretty standard, but it really depends on how fast your nails grow and like how much of a gap you can stand, really. But this is about the point where I'll usually fill them. And now we can go ahead and get started with the prep. Again, this is going to be very similar to what I did in the last video, just for the regular gel overlay, so I won't spend too much time explaining what I'm doing and why. But here, I'm just using my glass cuticle pusher to clean off the nail plate of any dead skin. There are lots of different cuticle tools you can use. I just happen to like this one. But basically, gel doesn't like to stick to your skin. It likes to stick to a nice clean nail plate, so that's what you want. So one difference between doing just the regular set straight up and the fill is that you're actually going to want to go in with a buffer. I'm trying this one out. It's kind of like a buffer block. It's got like more of a gritty side here, which is what I'm going to start with. And I'm just going to take down a little bit of the product that's on here since we are going to be going back over it. We don't want it to get too bulky, so I'm just going to shave it down a little bit. Now I'm actually going to flip over this buffing block and use the finer grit side just to smooth it out a little bit. And I talked about shaping more in my last video, so maybe go check that out if you have questions about this, but I'll say I am going to focus a little more on the sides of my nails since I want and need less bulk there, and leave a little more product in the center to give it a little structure and support. And now I'm just going to quickly smooth everything out with the really fine buffer side of this block. And I either forgot to film this or I lost the clip somewhere, but after doing all that filing, you definitely want to go in with a lint-free alcohol wipe or something of that sort to cleanse all the little dust particles and any leftover natural oils from your nail. Again, like we did the first time around with the original application. And now we're ready to do our fill. So again, this is at this point basically the same thing as doing the whole thing, except obviously you still have some product on your nail. So I'm just going to go in with the builder gel, And I like to sort of push the product down right up against the sort of cuticle line there, as close as you can get without actually touching your skin, of course, to make sure I get everything nice and covered. And then from there on out, again, pretty much the same process. You just want a nice even coat, maybe a tiny bit more in the center, again for that support, and less on the sides. But at this point, you kind of already have the support from your shaping and the product that's already on there. So some people definitely work in thicker coats with a builder gel type product. I personally would rather do multiple really thin coats. So what I usually do for a fill is 2 very thin coats of the product. And of course I'm curing it in the lamp in between each coat. You can check the product you're using. We'll probably have instructions for how long to cure. So once I've cured those 2 coats, I'm going to go in with an alcohol wipe and just take off that tacky layer, because we're just going to do a tiny bit of filing and you don't want the sticky stuff everywhere on your file. And if you want to adjust the shape at all, now is a perfectly fine time to do it. I was pretty happy with how the shape came out, so I'm going in with this very fine, just like buffer side of the buffer block I was using just to smooth things out. And then I think I took just a tiny bit off the sides with the slightly grittier side and then smooth that out again. And then you'll want to go back in with your alcohol wipe just to cleanse off any of that dust. And as one final step, of course, we're going to go in with our gel top coat. So I can make another video where I go into detail on this. What I personally do is then I use a peel-off base coat between the gel overlay and whatever color gel I decide to use, so I can switch it out really quickly and easily and without disturbing the gel overlay. So here is a quick Instagram video of the first color I did.